We basically combine viral videos from today's age with like really cool like games and obstacle courses, and it's just a lot of fun.
Webheads. This 2014 and 15 Nickelodeon game show was rather forgettable in the context of what was airing on the network at the time. Hosted by Carlos Pena from the earlier Nickelodeon show Big Time Rush, the show focused on contestants completing tasks and challenges related to viral videos. These challenges ranged from guessing what happens in a video to guessing how the audience ranked a set of videos from best to worst. In total, during its short run, the show aired 40 episodes. A good majority of these episodes are still available to watch, and in fact, just recently 3 episodes of the show were found. Today, only 6 episodes of the show are lost. Holidays in the Danger Zone: Rivers. This 5-part travel documentary was aired by the BBC in 2006. There were other series of this nature, a part of the Holidays in the Danger Zone brand, but this is the only one that ended up lost. The show was in the style of a documentary series, which showed the lives and struggles of people living along certain rivers that were showcased in each episode. Those rivers being the Amazon, Ganges, Euphrates, Jordan, and Congo respectively. While the BBC does have a transcript of the first episode available, any actual footage or audio is nowhere to be found, though there is a good amount of photos from the series available. Pocket Monsters Best Wishes, whatever that's pronounced. The title of this short translates as Celestial Globe of Light and Shadow. The short was shown at planetariums in Japan and uses characters from the 5th generation of the Pokemon TV series. The plot essentially boils down to Team Rocket stealing Pikachu, ultimately leading up to him and his companions following them to some ancient ruins. I guess diverting from Team Rocket's shtick that's been done to death just wasn't gonna happen. This was shown in 2011 and also 2013. These planetarium shorts from Pokemon typically don't see any public release, and neither did this one, despite being more notable for being fully animated, using 2D elements for the characters and CGI for the backgrounds. The only material available today is a trailer uploaded to YouTube.
And continue a journey towards a fortune in cash and prizes, including a luxury automobile and $50,000 in cash. In total, over $100,000 on Sale of the Century.
Sale of the Century. While perhaps we'll cover the original show in a future episode, this entry will be about the version that aired in the 80s. Between 1983 and 1989, over 1,500 episodes aired. The gameplay involved a panel of 3 contestants answering trivia questions. For each correct answer, they gained $5, and for every wrong answer, they lost $5. Players could buy prizes for very discounted prices than normal, thus incentivizing them to answer questions correctly. This show has a complicated history with its preservation. Most of the show's episodes are lost today, though many of them can be found on YouTube. Fremantle only claims to have about 900 episodes of the show archived, and none before 1985. And it's all a confusing mess on whether the first run of episodes still exists. WCW NWO Whiplash. Like the other Gamecom games we've discussed on this channel, this one would have likely been of poor quality as well. This game reportedly had multiple modes, one where you could compete for the heavyweight title, and another quick play mode where you could play individual matches. While other WCW games have been cancelled in the past, this is probably the most elusive due to the obscurity of the hardware on which it was to be played. The game was advertised and shown at trade shows throughout 1999, but ultimately due to the failure of the Gamecom, the game was cancelled. Because the game was shown at E3, a build of what the game would have looked like likely exists, but its whereabouts are unknown. Only one screenshot survives today.
Believe your eyes, The Wiz is live.
Believe in yourself right from the start. Believe
The Wiz. The Wiz was a theatrical retelling of The Wizard of Oz with an all-black cast in 1975, and was notable for being one of the first Broadway musicals advertised primarily through TV to promote its TV broadcast. The musical itself ended up being received rather well, winning several Tony Awards and overall being viewed well by audiences. The integration of television was also partially responsible for its success. It was, to this date, one of the most aggressively advertised Broadway musicals ever. Despite this, however, the broadcast is lost. Since 1975, very few materials from it have surfaced. Bits and pieces of footage are floating around, and there's even a trailer, but the whole thing hasn't been found, and it's unknown in whose possession it would be. The Brothers Grunt. This rather infamous cartoon aired on MTV in the mid-90s, and through its use of grotesque designs and imagery that's frankly difficult to look at times, it often drew comparisons to Ren and Stimpy and Ah Real Monsters. The show wasn't a success. The low ratings caused the show to get canned after 35 episodes. Allegedly, there were 10 episodes that were produced but never aired, and 6 of them have been found fully, with one additional episode mostly intact. Supposedly, there are 3 episodes yet to be found, but these 3 episodes aren't confirmed to exist. If they don't exist, then only one part of one episode of the series is lost. If not, it's difficult to know when the 3 lost episodes could be found and who would have them. Inazuma 11 Pilot. Inazuma 11 is a series based on the soccer video game franchise of the same name. The series has a complicated history as far as English versions go. The North American, British, and Australian releases of the TV series used a different English voice cast than the video games. Then, for the 3DS release of the same game, Nintendo used a different voice cast for that. Already, it doesn't seem like the show and games can get on the same page with localization. And even with that, there's a lost pilot to the TV series. Since there's confirmed to be a largely Canadian voice cast that hasn't shown up in any media from the franchise, it's theorized that this was the voice cast used for a pilot to potentially bring the show to North American markets, and that pilot is obviously lost. Jeopardy! Barbara Lowe episodes. I know that I don't typically talk about stuff if I've seen a lot of people talk about it, but this was one thing that was just too hilarious for me to not include. There appears to be a few lost episodes of Jeopardy featuring a contestant by the name of Barbara Lowe. She appeared on 5 episodes in 1986, as at the time that was the limit, unlike today, where you can win upwards of 70 times and not get kicked off. This contestant wasn't invited back for the Tournament of Champions after it was discovered that she had violated eligibility rules for the show. Having previously appeared on multiple other game shows and even appearing on Jeopardy with a fake name, she didn't receive the money she won in the game, rumored to be about $35,000. She would often fidget behind the podium and argue with Alex Trebek about her incorrect answers. As a trivia host at local bars, it doesn't surprise me, that's a type of person that's fairly common. And while she claims her quirks were due to a case of gastroenteritis, it wasn't convincing for many people. And her episodes haven't been rerun since they originally aired, leading to most of the footage being lost.
Yeah, that Turn On was a show that George Schlatter thought was going to be hysterical. And it kind of was, but it was way ahead of its time. I'm not sure, even if you saw it today, that maybe that time has also passed. We did the show. It came on a Tuesday night, I think, or something like that. It aired first in New York, and we had a opening party out here at a hotel, and we were waiting for the reviews. As it came across the country, it was being canceled. It got canceled in New York, and when it got to Ohio, they shut it off after 15 minutes. I mean, they didn't even let it go the whole half hour.
Turn On. Way back in the very first episode of my Lost Media series, I mentioned Turn On, which was a show that did not do well upon initial airing. It was canceled as soon as it aired pretty much, unanimously across the country. The show was a minimalist sketch show that employed the use of religious and political satire, and audiences at the time did not like it. While the innovation within, including an early use of motion capture, didn't save it. Since it aired all the way back in the 60s, it's been lost, with short clips of footage being the only things found. But in October, the 2 episodes produced were officially released on YouTube by George Schlatter. Didn't expect to see this happen, but it's nice that it did.